All right, I'm in the attic up here and measuring the sheathing wood moisture equivalent, 9.7. Some discoloration here where it used to be wet, but it is December 6th and it's dry right now. The data logger magnetically connected to the truss there. Another one here, and we have one inside to measure down there. He was having a lot of heat loss through the insulation through here that was carrying moisture and condensing up here. So we're going to leave the data loggers in and see where it's at in a couple months. So here's the house. They have a couple skylights up there, but they replaced the ridge vent this year, and they also added a bunch of cellulose insulation. But there used to be a lot more heat loss. You could see all the lines in the snow where all of the heat loss was melting the snow. The ice dams don't look nearly as bad. It's 23 degrees out right now, 70 degrees inside the house, and that's, believe it or not as bad as it used to be. So looks like they might have corrected some of the issues, but we're going to monitor it for a couple months and see. Today is January 28th. I went out and collected the data loggers from the ventilated knee wall unconditioned attic, and I've got 3 sensors here. So this one, unit 1, was placed at the sheathing in that space, so this should be the worst condition. Unit 3 looks very similar, but it was placed near the knee wall, which was closer to the conditioned area, so it's a little bit warmer. See more separation there. Unit 2 was placed inside, so it has temperature and humidity, temperature and relative humidity here, as well as CO2. So starting out with unit 1, this would be where I'd most likely see moisture accumulation. So what's plotted here is temperature and dew point. Not as concerned about relative humidity so much as I'm concerned about the crossover between dew point and temperature. So like right here where we see a little spike in dew point, if the dew point is above the temperature, then that means moisture is accumulating. So we're going to check that right here. And I've already gone through all of these, but this one here, you see like 36 degrees and the dew point's 36 degrees, but just above it, just below it, mitigates that. So it's not as much of a concern, that tiny little spike. It doesn't seem like much moisture would have accumulated there. This gets pretty close. Down here, there's another little spike. See, the dew point's 1 degree. Oh, and then it jumps to 10, 15. So not sure what happened here, but it dissipates very quickly. So dew point was 1 degree, 10, 15, 11, 8, 5. So tiny little spike right there, but nothing to worry about. And I went through all of these, anything that got close, and see like a 37 degree dew point here. It's 37 degrees inside the cavity, but then dissipated quickly. So it looks like the concern has been alleviated with the remedies that have taken place. And then we'll look at unit 3. This was again in that unconditioned ventilated knee wall area, but this one has more separation than this one, which indicates less of a risk because it was a little bit warmer with the same relative humidity. So the dew point never, the dotted line is this dew point, never gets really close to the temperature. Follows it, but there's no issue there. So that's a good sign. Unit 2 was the interior conditions. I wanted to monitor those to see what they were and if they were a contributing factor. He previously had a humidifier in there, which I don't believe has been used because the average relative humidity in the building was somewhere right around 35%, as you can see here. So he did have some spikes here and there, which is typical, but typically it's hovering right around 35% relative humidity average. Temperature looks like it's right around 67, 68 with some spikes, but pretty steady there except for a vacation. It looks like he went on vacation right around Christmas. But other than that, it's pretty steady. So no concerns about extreme humidity. If this was up around 50% relative humidity at 70 degrees, and the outside temperature was 10 degrees, that might be concerning, but no issues there. CO2, this was just interesting to monitor, just to see kind of how his building was ventilated or leaking to the outside. So anything above 1,000 is in red. You see these spikes are usually from cooking or something, but typically it's below. So although it does spike, it's dissipating quickly, which indicates that it's a well-ventilated space. So overall, it looks like the concerns with moisture accumulation have been alleviated, and he should be all set now. But it was good to test and confirm.